day 4 of Inktober 2020. If you haven't been joining in so far and this is the first time you've heard of it, I'll tell you about it. But first, my name is Blut084, BLUT084. And every day of Inktober, as I did last year for 2019, I'm going to be taking part of a drawing in ink, not using a pencil. And today's word, I believe, is radio. And when I thought about radio, I thought of many different things. I thought about podcasts. And I also thought about what else has become after the... what's come after radio, really? Because obviously there was television, but what's come after television? Go away. Come after television? Well, there's so many different things. I mean, the radio itself has turned into a podcast more kind of thing. I'm going to check those comments as they're coming in. That's my references that I'll be using in a minute. But yeah, what comes to mind when you think radio? Because that's what I'm going to sort of draw around. I've obviously got my own idea and got my references and things like that, and I'm trying to find why am I being dumb. There we go. I'll go refresh that. Yeah, so there's comments coming in. But if you are taking part, or if you're not taking part, then check out the other illustrations so far. We're on day 4, and it's only been 3 days even. Shut up. Thank you. All right. So what are we saying there? What are you saying? As we are live, I am recording this, so if you can't watch the whole thing, don't worry about it, because I am recording and I'm speeding everything up, so obviously you don't get like an hour worth of me illustrating. And I'll be posting that whole thing at the end of the month, because it's 31 days. And it's... Oh god, I'm just reading your comments there. But yeah, it's 31 days, and we're going to be doing an illustration every single day. Not like I normally do on a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, where I'll do a sketch on a Monday, ink on a Tuesday, which is what we're doing today. And then on Wednesday, I'll deal with colouring. We're doing everything all in one day, because that is the challenge. To ink, you are allowed to use pencil in these new rules, but in the original rules, you couldn't use any kind of pencil whatsoever, not even shading, anything, no. So I will keep with today's rules. I'll be only using my 0.7 pen and my Copic markers as well. I've kind of gone away from using felt tips and things like that, because these are just horrible and they're crap, and I'm not too... Oh, you want me to explain the Inktober thing? What is exactly you're having trouble with? Like I said, I might use those, but I've got Copic markers now, and they're really good, so I want to keep using them. If you haven't been here for a while, then you'll know that I only used to use a really crappy pen, like shading pens. Now I'm using Copic markers, which my dream was. Look, the PC, if you remember me doing digital art, has broken down, so I couldn't have done any of the Inktober drawings like I wanted to. I did do 1 or 2. They have been posted over on Instagram. I'm now on TikTok as well, but what do you mean? I was with you in the... Oh, sculptures. Which sculptures were they? Were they my Blue Angel? I'm just going to put my phone on charge a second, because if I don't, it's going to have no charge whatsoever. Which sculptures do you mean there? Because I'll be doing some more of those in I'm talking about September. I'll be doing some more of those in... when will I be doing them? I'll be doing them soon. Yeah, the poly clay. I've done quite a few different polymer clays. Do you mean my Blue Angel, or Blue Angel and Morningscape? Or do you mean my magnets from last year? Bloody chargers, eh? Inktober. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking of. When you think radio, where does your mind take you? Does it take you to old-fashioned, hello everybody, welcome to kind of thing, or does it more of a, Pop radio in the morning. I don't know. What kind of thing comes to you? I mean, radio to me, I think stereo, but that's a stereo. Whereas a radio is, so, you know, radio stations, or is it radio? It plays music. It's the device itself. Because I was thinking, radio's dead because video's killed it. I've been able to play a song in my head, and I've got a thing on the TikTok that I'm going to be doing. Let's get those comments coming up. I'm going to get those, getting that TikTok playing as always. You can find out how it turns out, and you'll find out how this turns out if you carry on watching. But if you want to be listening to any kind of audiobook, please let me know, because I have got a few queued up already. But if you have your own, your own suggestion, let me know, because I wouldn't mind listening to it if you want to listen to it. Because if it's something that could give me an inspiration for an illustration for any of the weeks, then my phone's just died, so I can't actually. I'll have to actually use that to lovely jubbly. Hang on, let's get. That's annoying. That's incredibly annoying. Oh, the joys of being live. Let's go back to my channel and read those comments, because I know there was a few. Oh yes, you think the angel even. Remind me or Emma reminds you of music. Okay. Righto. Reminds you of music. I'm gonna have to have the comments over there. So I don't know what we're gonna listen to. Alexa. Definition of radio.
As a noun, radio is usually defined as wireless telegraphy or telephony. As an adjective, radio is usually defined as pertaining to, used in, or sent by radio. As a verb, radio is usually defined as to transmit a message, music, etc. by radio. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for radio.
Don't really need to, because that's quite enough, I think. So yeah, podcasts. A definition of a radio is something that broadcasts a message or will so you can hear it. So something that you can hear it but don't see it from far away, basically. So yeah. My ideas of what, like I said, I've already got a few ideas of something I wanted to draw anyway. I was going to kind of draw a grave, but make the gravestone a going to stick that underneath. Make it into more of a the podcast 3 characters. So they got your podcast, so you've got your live streamer, and you've got your social media. That's kind of where I was going with it. It's like a gravestone, but not a gravestone, more of a stereo ghetto blaster radio, ham radio sort of thing. Sitting in the middle with the grave here, but maybe possibly if I can get it in there, not the bones, but the radio sort of he's or she's or its bones or whatever is still sitting there blasting out a message. Radio's not dead, it's still there, blah, whatever. He's sort of maybe raging because he's turning in his grave. So seeing what's happened to the radio, what's evolved from radio, shall we say, like a podcast, live streams and things like that. Which is what I like to do. I don't always do live streams. Again, I will be recording all of this. So if you do miss or do need to leave, you can always come back anyway, because I will record this, but I'm recording on the PS4. So Alexa, set me 50 minutes on a timer.
50 minutes, starting now.
Because that's how long the PlayStation will record for. Again, if you haven't seen any of the other recordings that I've done, I do everything live and then record it so you guys can just catch up if you don't want to watch a whole live stream. Definitely go check those out in the Creation Station and in those playlists. You can also check out the VR that I've done, and if you want to check out the sped up versions of the polymer clays, then all you'll need to do is check out the same playlist to see them. I have to do something about my phone because I got the music. I mean, I can put those on, but I can't see your comments, which is annoying. I wonder if I could turn them on. No, I can't, because that doesn't work on the PlayStation. Does on the PC though, because it's all annoying, because it's different. La 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 la. Yeah, but hopefully you got a better camera and you got a better view, because I can even do a zoom in on this one, which is something I couldn't do on the PC. But on the PC, on the PS4, which is what I'm using, Share Factory, you can see in the top corner up there. Boop. Camera mode. If I was to do the zoom ins, zooms, I go, and I can even do bloody green screen. What am I doing? Cancel. Okay. Yeah, so it's all that kind of good stuff, but that's in the editing, and that's what I'll be doing, edit it, and that's why I record it. And yeah, you'll get a blue screen when I record, and then I'll be straight back after that. Let's get on with the illustration, because we're doing Inktober, not talking about technology. Today's word again is radio. Your thoughts on radio is that. We've got some more messages, and you're saying, how was the builders at your... Oh, the builders, they're still here. But they haven't been, technically, they're still doing stuff. They haven't been here for over a week now. I have no idea why. I was told that the builders were back to do some tiles. I was waiting for some special tiles to come in. I'm like, whatever. Scaffold's still there, but they're not making any noise, which is quite nice, which means I can still be live, even on a Sunday, which is beautiful. I probably won't be doing any Storytime Sundays for at least a while. Maybe I'll do one later, but it depends on how I feel, because I've got to get this whole thing inked, or say, drawn, or sketched, and then, I'm not saying sketch, but I'm going to be sketching with this pen, and then I'll be bulking out the lines with the darker edges, put some shade in with these like I would with the pencil, and then later on tonight I'll be colouring in, but I'll be doing all that off stream, and checking that out. But the builders, yeah, whatever. They'll be here, they're not here. I haven't got a wet roof anymore, which is quite nice. Still, the annoying neighbours, if you've seen the other videos about, well, yeah. But other than everything else, everything's good. I quite like to come home and watch you, man. Your streams come. Where you got coming home from? Coming home from the shops, where I hope you've been wearing a mask and keeping safe. Whoop. Okay, that button happened. Don't want to do that. Quite like come on, your stream, come me lots. You're pretty chill type of... Yeah, chilled. Chill as me. I've even got sweets, because I'm not even going to try and talk when I try and illustrate today. So, as I'm saying, audiobooks, I need to find a way of getting some kind of music going. Alexa, copyright-free playlists.
I don't see the playlist copyright in your music library.
Alexa, play copyright-free music.
Shuffling songs by copyright on Amazon Music.
No, not copyright. Alexa, stop. Because that'll get the copyright, and hence the word of it. That's annoying. You're in Australia. I see. You got... Oh, I see. Right. So you just... okay. So Australia, you're like... I've dealt with an Australian before in their time zone, and you've got a very different one to us. Let's just say that. What time... Just out of interest, what time is it there now? Because it's here 3:30 p.m. So I'm thinking it's in the AMs with you. This is kind of cool if you're watching as a chilled little video. I've got 10:30 p.m. Oh, that's not too bad. But I need to get some music on. Oh god, I haven't got any music I can even listen to without doing. I need to do something about this. I can't create something without music. That is preposterous thoughts of the thoughting mind. Where can I do stuff? Oh, I've got loads of CDs and I've got loads of music I can listen to, but none of it for... Alexa, tell me a story. Alexa, tell me a story.
Okay, here's Audible Stories.
Oh!
I can tell you a story, or you can hear a free short story from Audible. You can say, your story, or Audible story. Which would you like?
Audible story, please.
Alright, here's a story from Audible.
Sweet! Let's get on
You're
then.
about to listen to one story from
We're
Roald
about to
Dahl's
listen to
Revolting
one
Rhymes.
story.
If you
We're
want to
gonna
listen
have
to the
fun.
entire
Oh,
collection,
Jesus, that's loud.
just say,
Alexa.
read Revolting Rhymes.
Just gonna...
This is Audible.
Little Red Riding Hood and the Wolf. As soon as Wolf began to feel that he would like a decent
Little
meal,
Red
he went
Riding
to
Hood
knock
and the
on Grandma's
Wolf.
door.
Ugh.
Grandma opened it. She saw the sharp white teeth, the horrid grin, and Wolfie said, "May I come in?" Poor Grandmama was terrified. "He's going to eat me up," she cried.
Alexa,
And she was absolutely...
pause. You were saying, you're asking, when did I start? I started in 2000, or maybe the end of 2017, but I think 2018 I was doing official content, if you like, videos, not just posting whatever I felt like, and doing a routine, and got structured probably around the end of 2018, got into like a structured thing of what I was doing, put out what I was doing. So yeah, starting around about 2017-ish. Maybe more of a streamer back then, more on the Mixer channel. But yeah, I've been doing it for about 2 to 3 years. Alexa, continue. We may as well listen to that because it's anything we can. Alexa.
Right.
Oh,
He ate her up.
never mind. Play.
Up in one big bite. But
Right,
Grandmama
I got no
was
references
small
as
and
well.
tough, and Wolfie wailed, "Oh, that's not enough. I haven't yet begun to feel that I have had a decent meal." He ran around the kitchen yelping, "I've got to have another helping." Then added with a frightful leer, "I'm therefore going to wait right here till little Miss Red Riding Hood comes home from walking in the wood." He quickly put on Grandma's clothes. Of course, he hadn't eaten those. He dressed himself in coat and hat. He put on shoes, and after that he even brushed and curled his hair, then sat himself in Grandma's chair. In came the little girl in red. She stopped. She stared. And then she said, "What great big ears you have, Grandma." "All the better to hear you with," the wolf replied. "What great big eyes you have, Grandma," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to see you with," the wolf replied. He sat there watching her and smiled. He thought, "I'm going to eat this child. Compared with her old grandmama, she's going to taste like caviar." Then Little Red Riding Hood said, "But Grandma, what a lovely, great, big, furry coat you have on." "That's wrong," cried Wolf. "Have you forgot to tell me what big teeth I've got? Ah, well, no matter what you say, I'm going to eat you anyway." The small girl smiles. One eyelid flickers. She whips a pistol from her knickers. She aims it at the creature's head, and bang, 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 she shoots him dead. A few weeks later, in the wood, I came across Miss Riding Hood.
Dearie.
But what a change! No cloak of red, no silly hood upon her head. She said, "Hello, and do please note my lovely furry wolfskin coat."
Thanks for listening to this short story. If you enjoyed this and want to hear something similar, just say, read Revolting Rhymes by Roald Dahl.
Wow. That was pretty good. Towards the end, that did take a turn that I was not expecting. Suggestions for anything else on there. If you want me to ask Alexa to do play any kind of audiobook, maybe I can do it from there. Don't put yourself down, mate, about that. And no, you're not. No, don't worry about that, mate. It's not time. It's not. It is the time that's taken to me to know what I've got to do and how to do it. But it's also me watching other people sort of going, oh, that's how I do that. Ah, I've been like, because I will do it like the most awkward, wrong way to begin with, but I'll still get the same result, and I'll be like, why have I been doing it this way for such a stupid amount of time when I could have just been doing it another way. And this is what I've been seeing in my head since yesterday. Note that I know already what the old antennae used to look like, and microphone. There is a reason why I've got 84 written on my name there. I have been around since the 80s and the very beginning of them. So all these new references that you guys are finding out, if you're quite younger than me, I already know them. And dude, I live them. God damn, I'm old. Alexa, play something from Audible. Pretty sure I got it with a Prime.
The Audible library is empty. To add titles, go to the Audible app.
Damn it. Now, I don't know if I can get that with Prime, because I noticed I could get Prime TV, which is all good, but... Oh, you normally rush things. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. I get to the point now on Inktober. I don't rush it at all. This is literally as long as it takes. Is as long as it takes. On this, because I'm using an ink pen and not sketching. With a sketch, I'm like, whatever, they'll do this. Line down here, and then go be like, oh, that's quite good, and then go around with the pen. But when doing like this, I have to like think where my hand is going. Now, do I want a stereo with a dial-y dock here? But I want it to be a tombstone. So how do I turn that into a tombstone? Now, these are like flowers, and there's the grass on the grass. So let's. So I wonder if I'm gonna have. Oh, I could do like. Oh, I could do something like grounded. Check that out. Have a thought. I should have thought about that a bit more. Bum. No, I can still save it. So like the little grounded people. Shall I do that? Shall I do that? That does it. I mean, I'm going to turn this into a radio and not turn it into a tombstone. It's just in the grass and there. Maybe one's floating down over here, and then maybe one's. Oh God, maybe another. I'd say it's small and it's a lot of detail, but it is a kind of Inktober type drawing where it's not all full detail, and I want to kind of colour it, so that's going to be an issue. What's standing over? Let's do a radio. Let's just put a radio in here and have a think about that. Have you played the Grounded game? Yourself? I have. It's quite good. See, now that, to me, looks too small, because the microphone is twice the size smaller than the radio. I'm going to stick with my original idea, because this is a tombstone. Right. Okay. But the grounded idea was a quite good thought, I thought. And maybe I can I can still do it, kind of, maybe. Maybe have a little ants up here, I don't know. Maybe we'll think about that. You were born in 2007. Yeah, you were younger. You met me on TikTok. Ah, yes. The TikTok is very handy for me. Have you been checking out the Inktober little... Oh, bugger. Should swear. Oh, no, my phone is turned off as well. I can't do a TikTok while I'm doing this, because that's what I've been doing. I've been like, doom, and then ba-doom, and then, ooh, look at this, ooh, look at this. Kind of Snapchats, instead of doing them things they do, because I'm already posting one of those at the end of the month. Oh, no, my phone. Why am I so doofus? Yes. Oh. Squat. Yeah, TikTok. I have been creating them. That's a very handy tool, I must say. Incredibly handy tool. For me as an illustrator, but me as a YouTuber, definitely. Just posting silly videos. If I don't feel like doing an actual video off for the day, I'll post a TikTok out onto the YouTube platform, which I don't do too much because it sends the wrong message that I'm just goofing around. Radio. Video killed the radio stars. The kind of idea is where I'm going. But then you've got podcast, live stream. I want to put these in pencil, but I'm not touching it with a pencil. I even put it in a way to like store it. Should tell me I've got one already started. I'm not going to show you TikToks now. I am trying to make one. But this is how I make one, and this is how the ones that I do show you, is how I make them. Okay, right. We've already started it, so I'm going to come up now. Slow it down to 3. And then I'll bring it out. Look over to the pens, look over to the other pen. And go grab the pen. And it goes. And we'll pause it there to the next bit. Now I can put the phone on charge. I should be able to see your messages now on the other one, so I might be able to... Actually, I'll be able to do that with the other, and then actually move some of the crap that's on my table out of the way would be really handy, don't you think? Shove you there. And then, if I can, probably put that up like that. Because, you know, I'm an inventor. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, slots in without any tension, and we can move it a little bit towards me. Then I can see your commentos. Yeah, that works like a drum. Work like a drum. Can I hear myself? Yeah, works like drum. Right, hang on. Here, right, you're in Australia. I'm a world called Cornwall, which is a part of England. Right, we got pen, we've got ink, we've got radio. Haven't got reference. Now I can see your comments if they pop up. Hopefully, if the blimmin' thing decides it's gonna. Hang on. What if I use my technological knowledge and lean it without it falling over? That would be what is the word? Bliss, wouldn't it? Bliss. Will you just do what I want you to do, phone? Please. Please. This is not good. Please. Oh, turn, you swat. Look at you. Jiminy Crickets. At a boat. Oh, yeah, you're just gonna... Just press all the buttons on it. Every single one. Every single one. Apart from the one I want, right? Yeah. Hello everybody, welcome to my live stream. Is it the most fantaverse ever thing that you've ever seen? Don't forget to leave a like because I'm faffing around with my phone. Right, now what are you saying in the comments because they're open? I met you, Inktober, try to support, please. I see like you try to watch every stream. Awesome, mate, you try to watch everyone. That's best all that you can do. How is England? Rainy. Silly question. You know, I wonder if they will pop up if I just put them there. You've turned yourself off again, haven't you? Haven't you? No? Oh, you just thought, you know what, I'm going to give up, I'm going to turn my screen off. Lovely jubbly. Oh, you're so handsome. I wonder if I'd put my phone on there instead, instead of... Oh, you know what? You know what? You know what? Your phone. I know I locked it. Pressed on the back, didn't I? Phone, just do it. Oh, the slide feature is annoying. Jesus, do it. England is rainy. Right. I have to have you plugged in and I have to have you charging. So, if I maybe put you like that and then put that behind it to make it lean down so it can lie down and then slides everywhere so I can't see it and then everything. Right. After that insanity, I'm going to do this. Swipe. Then I'm going to go to history on here and we're going to listen to what I have been listening to, which is DC's Infinite Crisis. If you haven't checked that out before. Then we've been listening to the whole thing past the 2 days, for the past 3 days. And we're on episode 2, which they're an hour and 40 each lengths. And if you want to catch up on them, go check out the other videos, because I'm going to get on now. I can still see those comments, and I've now got something to listen to. Just going to pause that. For some reason it's not connected to the Alexa. Connect to me.
Searching. Now connected to me. SMT110.
Nice. So if I press play, turn it up.
John Stewart crouched behind the toy-sized
Beautiful.
excavation machine, directing its actions with
Lovely.
his power ring.
Exactly what I wanted to do at the very beginning. So, you know what I'm trying to draw. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Leave those comments coming in, as they are very handy, or they're quite a good thing to chat to as I'm going through. So leave them coming in. But if you're new, don't forget to hit subscribe. Leave a like if you do enjoy and do like the video today. Again, don't forget to ding the bell for notifications on when I post the full version, where from day 1 to 31 of Inktober. That will be coming at the end. I am colouring them all. Again, if you missed any of them, there's one. But you can check them out over on Instagram for that. Because there's a how I coloured them, or how I use the shading and things like that. That is going to be what the video is going to be about. So yeah, let's get a sweet in me mouth radio on. Because I like to have something a sweet in my mouth, sort of something as a thought thing to do. So let's get going and get illustrating. Nom nom.
He fought back a yawn of exhaustion. He'd been to Mars and back today, and it was nearly midnight. Still, he didn't want to turn in until he thoroughly inspected the murder site one more time.
If Batman says there's a bullet here, then I'm gonna find it.
Gordon secure.
The alien Green Lantern Octo-309B from Sector 2260 was Stewart's designated backup tonight, while Hal and Kraken met with the Justice League. Although humanoid in size and shape, Octo sported a pair of floppy antennae and leathery red skin. A pair of horny barbs jutted from his chin. The domino mask concealing his face was probably unnecessary, given that the nearest other member of the species was hundreds of light years away.
Found anything yet?
Maybe. The ring detected a trace energy signature it couldn't identify. Whatever it is, it's been buried in this concrete foundation for 50 years or more, which makes it an unlikely candidate for the murder weapon. But I decided to dig it out just to make sure.
Wait. You hear that?
Not really.
That wasn't too surprising. The alien's auditory faculties were much more finely tuned than John's.
Tell me when I get back.
Confident that the other Green Lantern had his back, Stewart kept his eye on the excavations, which finally yielded results. One last scoop of debris exposed a bullet-shaped object composed of a smooth, translucent material.
All right. What do we have here?
Caution. Unidentified theotoxic material.
A thin green aura protected his fingers as John cautiously reached for the thing. An eerie violet glow radiated from the interior of the bullet, which appeared to contain some sort of intricate bioorganic skeleton. The arcane filaments seemed to be made of equal parts bone and circuitry.
Theotoxic? As in fatal to gods?
Guardian Archives identification. Radion. Emergency. 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 Emergency.
A wisp of green smoke escaped the ring before its light went out.
Ring?
He recharged it right after he'd gotten back from Mars. It should have still had plenty of power. He moved his hand away from the mysterious bullet.
Why'd you stop?
A volley of glowing emerald spikes slammed into him, nailing him to the side of a heavy wooden crate. The spikes impaled his palms, wrists, thighs, ankles, and gut. His attacker wore a familiar green uniform.
God, it's you!
The noise he had heard was probably nothing, but Octo figured it couldn't hurt to check it out. This was his first visit to Earth, so he wasn't entirely sure what constituted a threat or not. A massive steel suspension bridge overlooked the waterfront where the new god's body had been found. Octo's keen ears and antennae led him to the very top of the bridge, where he was startled to discover the source of the ringing.
What is this?
A green plasma construct of a wind-up toy monkey guardian, clanging a pair of tiny metal cymbals.
Lantern John Stewart.
A pair of emerald spikes hovered before John Stewart's face, poised to strike. A hostile power ring glowed ominously upon an outstretched hand. Despite the searing pain and shock, John tore his right wrist free and slammed it into the palm of his opponent. The blow disrupted his enemy's concentration, and the blinding spikes blinked out of existence.
John Stewart!
His voice chased John's assailant away.
John Stewart?
Coast City.
Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, 2814.1.
Hal Jordan sat up to find an entire contingent of Alpha Lanterns standing amidst an emerald glare at the foot of his bed. Kraken, Boudica, Varix, and Chassalon glared at him ominously. Kraken's right-hand ring projected a blinding green spotlight onto him. She held up a blood-stained uniform with her other hand. Blinking before the glare, it took Jordan a second to recognize the uniform as one of his spares.
I'm placing you under arrest for the murder of a new god and the attempted murder of your partner.
What?
Groggy and wearing only a pair of khaki boxer shorts, Jordan couldn't quite grasp what was happening. The scar on his temple itched. He couldn't remember how he'd gotten it. He instinctively raised his own ring, but all he could muster was a puff of wispy green smoke before the ring shorted out entirely.
What the hell?
Your power ring and badge have been suspended for the duration of this inquiry.
Against his will, his ring flew from his finger onto Kraken's open hand. The glossy faceplate flipped up to reveal the robotic mechanical visage underneath. Like the rest of her elite division, she was part machine now.
No lantern escapes the Alpha Lanterns.
Washington, D.C.
Look, I was never Jordan's biggest supporter, but this just doesn't scan.
Batman and Superman strode through the corridors of the Hall of Justice.
Don't tell me you trust Kraken.
If she's wrong, and I'm sure she is, it shouldn't take us long to prove Hal's innocence.
Superman stepped out onto the plaza in front of the building.
I only need an hour or two. I know you can hold the fort until I get back.
I hope you're right.
Batman clung to the shadow of the central arch.
Dr. Midnight and Wonder Woman are with John Stewart now, administering purple ray treatments.
With luck, the healing powers of the violet radiation, which had been developed by the Amazons of Paradise Island, would help the comatose Green Lantern recover from his grievous injuries. Unconscious since Octo-309V had found him, Stewart had so far been unable to name his attacker.
If we assume Kraken's wrong, we still have a god killer at large. But if I don't show my face as Clark Kent at the Daily Planet, I blow my secret identity out of the water.
Like that makes any difference now. Come on.
Batman watched as Superman took off into the sky. Not for the first time. He was grateful that Bruce Wayne didn't
cold.
have a day job.
It ain't cold in Australia, shut up. That doesn't happen.
Back in the morgue, Batman found Kraken inspecting Orion's remains once more.
Avalanche and Kraken. We need to talk about Jordan.
You can be here all the way. Strap in, 2 hours on a Sunday. No Sunday story time, getting a bit of this instead. A story? Where I'm a drawing.
You could literally see through the floating remains.
What's happening to Orion?
Is mostly energy. It sublimes without a trace.
She turned to face him, her hands on her hips.
And as for Jordan, this is not the first
Right.
time he went rogue. He was once possessed by Parallax, the fear thing. Many thousands died as a result.
I'm thinking people about that tall to a gravestone. One's going to be there. One's going to be about there. One's going to be about there. Maybe a bit taller, maybe a bit shorter, maybe a bit shorter. And one there. And then we'll have one here. Sort of there. I think. Yeah, one person here. One person there. And another one there. You know, to looking out. So, I'm gonna have to spit. That's disgusting. We're gonna have to take it out of my mouth. I'm thinking. So, what do we think? What's come out of? I mean, what do you think? Is what I'm asking. I think out of radio, podcasts, live streaming, and social media. Now, is social media more of a news thing, whereas the radio was broadcasted over the radio, and that's how people knew about certain things because of the radio. And there was also the first adaptation. There was a first radio thing that's been adapted out in so many different forms, which was War of the Worlds, which came from radio. Because there was no television, it was before television. They put out a series, and people thought it was happening, and things like that. But I'm getting sidetracked with that. But radio has spawned television. It has spawned everything else, like a podcast. I mean, radio as a core, I think, is turned into podcasting. Because you even like over here we get Radio 1. I listened to Radio 1 when I was younger. Don't so much like the music now, but. And the presenter's doing my head in. I like Chris Moyles days. They're sort of they've gone to podcast. And they've also even live stream on YouTube and post videos on YouTube. And the radios have just become what YouTube is. I think is people are bored of just hearing them. They need to see them. So they see them anyway. But yeah, that's what. I think. So, I think in podcast, live stream, and social media, I think. Well, but kind of trying to represent them in a person or a figure, and get them. So, what would be social? What would be podcast? What would podcaster look like? Think of Bob Lowe. What do you think? Give me a idea of what you think a podcaster looks like. What do you think a live streamer looks like? What do you think? Now, a live streamer, I'm talking more. Is there a difference between a podcaster and a live streamer? Who knows? What do you think? Maybe I could pick... I don't want to do characters because that means I'll have to keep to what that character looks like. But you know what I mean? Like, don't want to do a famous podcaster, don't want to do a famous YouTuber, don't want to do a famous social media person. Just want to sort of sum it up. Let's put that back in my mouth. Disgusting. But yeah, that's where I'm going. Don't know what I'm going to do down here. Don't know what I'm going to do down here. Maybe I'll still keep to that idea of low level ground and then he's broadcasting through that radio. Video killed the video. Yeah. Video killed the radio star. Alright, I'm going to get that back on. You still get some comments coming in. And we'll carry on.
But Kraken faltered. She tottered unsteadily and clutched her head.
Are you all right?
She's eating my mind alive.
She held out her left hand.
I'm thinking podcaster
The unmistakable
aren't going to be seen. They're going to be more behind the camera. Just behind the microphone. A streamer is in front of the camera, but with a microphone. Social media's just got a phone in her hand. So I'm thinking maybe scruffy person here.
Insulation in his glove protected him from the flames, at least for the moment.
John has one hell of a right hook, doesn't he?
Stuart is critical. Wonder Woman cannot beat him. But Dr. Midnight is already responding to your alarm. He will arrive in exactly 35 seconds. But even he, through his eternal punishing regret, won't reach you in time.
A pair of glowing emerald centipedes, the size of moray eels, sprang from her twin power rings. The wriggling constructs attacked Batman's neck from both sides, their stingers penetrating the thick reinforced fabric to pierce the skin beneath. The neurotoxic venom struck like lightning. He swayed backward, surrendering his grip on her arm. His legs buckled, and he collapsed onto his knees. The centipedes retreated back into her rings.
Are you afraid at last?
A shimmering vortex opened up behind her, like a spinning tunnel stretching into infinity. Batman recognized it as one of the secret pathways the new gods had used to traverse the cosmos. Bioorganic tendrils extended from the mouth of the vortex, anchoring it in space-time. Batman averted his eyes to fight the vertigo. Kraken was silhouetted before the gaping maw of the vortex, her arms raised in unholy triumph.
Did you think the gods would tread lightly when they came among you? Into the blue tube with you, my sweet.
Sounded a bit like Wizard of Oz.
He toppled forward onto the floor at Kraken's feet. The tendrils reached out for him. Bloodhaven. Sneaking into the decimated city had proven easier than expected. Nobody, not even the homeless refugees camped outside the Forbidden Zone, really wanted to get back into the blasted, radioactive wasteland. A sickly silver glow radiated from the broken pavement and melted skyscrapers. Torched vehicles clogged the deserted streets. A foul miasma hung over the desolate scenery. No one in their right mind would want to linger here, let alone creep in uninvited. Nevertheless, Turpin clung to the towering piles of debris as he made his way on foot across the rubble.
I've come too far to turn back now.
He was getting closer to the missing kids. He could sense it.
What the hell?
Turpin ducked behind an overturned semi-truck to avoid being spotted by a trio of atomic knights riding huge mutant Dalmatians. The armored sentries who patrolled the toxic ruins appeared to be in pursuit of a giant mutated cockroach. Turpin had to wonder whether lame-brained government egghead had dreamed up the Atomic Knights program.
Couldn't I just send in the Marines or something?
He waited until the Knights and their disgusting quarry were safely past before creeping out into the open again. The shattered, uneven landscape was tough going, and he breathed hard before he got too far. He dabbed at his sweaty brow with a fraying handkerchief. It felt like he was burning up inside. Search beams scoured the wreckage ahead of the shade chopper, closing in on Turpin. He looked frantically around for some place to hide.
Over here.
Turning toward the voice, Turpin spotted a lone figure lurking in the entrance of the Bismarck Avenue subway station. A towering white afro was perched atop the man's spectacled head, and a clerical collar bobbed beneath his fleshy chin.
This way, my friend.
The spotlight was closing on the detective fast.
Well, that ain't no storm.
Turpin darted beneath the eaves of the doorway, only seconds before the chopper passed by overhead.
Wait a second. I've seen you on TV. Good. Reverend Godfrey Good, right? Gotta love TV. Oh, great one. Hallelujah. I knew I'd find you here. Great one. Just who do you think I am, Reverend? All will be revealed. But let us not tarry here any longer, lest the unbelievers chance upon us. Yeah, probably not a bad idea.
Turpin let the preacher lead him down into subway tunnels below the city. Phosphorescent greenish-gray moss, growing profusely upon the tiled walls and concrete supports, gave him just enough light to navigate by once his eyes adjusted to the gloom. Walking along the abandoned subway tracks was unnerving, but he guessed that it had been at least a few years since any trains had come speeding through these tunnels. Rats, or what he hoped were merely rats, scurried away at their approach. Turpin stepped carefully to avoid sinking an unwary foot into one of the stagnant pools. Gnawed human bones had been flushed down into the tunnels along with the rest of the trash. Huge insects scuttled through the empty eye sockets of a skull.
Right. So we've got podcasts, we've got live streamer, and then we've got to have the another sweet in my gob. Yum. Social media. Oh crap! I haven't done the social media part of it. Give me a sec.
Faded block letters identify the location as Command D.
Some sort of top secret military installation?
Dead soldiers and scientists were strewn about the facility, beside the decaying corpse of an unlucky atomic knight and his canine steed. Yellow hazmat suits were torn to shreds. Bullet holes riddled the puke-green concrete walls. Discarded shell casings testified to the ferocity of the fighting that had gone on here, apparently not too long ago. From the looks of things, Command D was no longer in the hands of the U.S. government.
See how selflessly we have prepared this pit of human suffering and sickness as a cradle for your
Podcast just needed radio, so maybe you should put that radio there. I like the idea with the headphones for podcast live streamer. Yes, you are true.
This was about kids, missing kids. You want the same treatment I gave the Mad Hatter?
The headphones. What about? I'm doing it again. What about live streamer? I mean, what about social media? I mean, the social media is going to have a phone in his hand. Don't make it young. I mean, social media is more of a young thing. Once you get past 40, you're just talking to people after that. Or venting. Yeah. But, so young. And live streamer is going to be so really young, teen. So old because he's a podcast, because he's been at it just because that was spawn of radio. After it came podcasts. Then it would be live streaming, YouTubing and stuff like that. So headphones and middle-aged, and then we'll have middle-aged and sort of wearing semi-cool clothes but kind of thrifty. And then we'll have a kid of t-shirt and shorts, maybe. No, baggy trousers, Maybe a girl. Maybe a girl doing a... Oh my god. Doing those bloody pouty faces. Ah, right, okay.
They're making slaves out of us! Oh, yes. They are destined to become subhuman degenerates. Living, breeding joys. And dying in agony to serve the eternal, all-consuming fire pits. Hallelujah! Oh, God. Turpin's whole world seemed to have gone insane.
You're still turning out, buddy, but thank you very much. Let's get into a middle age. Middle age.
You can't get away. It's wrong to pity the weak.
The Reverend guided his disoriented charge past the cell block. A pair of swinging metal doors into a larger chamber that appeared to be some sort of huge laboratory/operating room. Sprawling metal catwalks looked down on the ugly industrial workshop. Freakish medical monstrosities floated in liquid-filled tubes mounted to lead-like walls. Freshly scoped blood and viscera flowed on the floor around an unsanitary-looking steel operating table. A pair of figures hovered around it.
Mr. Mokari will back me up on that. Won't you, boy?
They looked up from their labors and smiled at Turpin.
Great one.
This man's gaunt, sallow face was smeared with greasy makeup, giving him the look of a deranged transvestite. Blurry black swirls resembled badly done tattoos or war paint. His surgeon's smock was tinged with red, his rubber boots splashing through spraying pools of gore. His head was shaved smooth. His brutish companion was even more outre. Thick black hair was swept back to expose the sloping brow and prognathous jaws of a missing link. Bristling mutton chops carpeted the sides of his face, and the monocle magnified a sullen, bestial eye. He was clad in olive green scrubs, like his collaborator.
Rejoice! The evil factory is open for business.
Mokari stepped away from the operating table to reveal a scene straight out of the island of Dr. Moreau. A hybrid monstrosity with the brawny body of a muscle man and the head of a tiger was strapped to the table. Fresh sutures revealed where the grafts had taken place. An oxygen mask was affixed over the tiger man's snout.
No, this ain't right.
Turpin spotted a third figure standing in the shadows beneath the catwalk. A blue-skinned alien woman wearing a skimpy suit of green metallic armor. A smooth blue mask was affixed to her face, and a lambent emerald glow radiated from her chest. She looked like a Green Lantern, but Turpin sensed that she was not here to rescue anyone. Instead, she stepped forward to stroke the tiger man's head.
Where the new gods fell, what chance have Earth's primitive strong men against all the armies of Apocalypse?
Reverend Hood steered Turpin around a large, sparking generator.
See? We've started rounding them up already. Oh, God.
Turpin saw Batman himself trapped inside some kind of futuristic Iron Maiden. A burnished steel clamp covered the Dark Knight's lower body, and his outstretched arms were encased within the parted halves of the gleaming metal sarcophagus, so that only his head and upper torso were fully visible. A globular helmet was suspended above his cowled head. Syringes loaded with bubbling green chemicals were embedded in the helmet, with the needles pointed inward toward Batman's skull. Plastic tubing connected the syringes with a cylindrical steel vat behind the Iron Maiden.
Oh, God! Oh, Jesus!
Turpin staggered backward. Boss Darkseid's leering visage surfaced from his memory.
There's someone in my head.
They're coming to get us all! Or the Justice League!
The helmet with its multiple needles descended onto Batman's head. The syringes.
Okay, I've got to press record, so give me a second. Alexa, stop.
Metropolis.
That's great stuff, Kent.
Terry White waved a sheet of freshly
Alexa,
copy in the air.
set me 50 minutes on a timer.
50 minutes, starting now.
God, it's 50 minutes already. Because I'm trying to get this picture in. I'm having trouble doing a middle-aged person. What the hell does a middle-aged person wear?
Jimmy Olsen was on the sidewalk below, buying his daily hot dog from a
Live streamer, sorry.
A cub reporter's lunch.
But
Batman had been missing for hours now, and Superman was still no closer to finding out what had happened to him.
I don't want to make him appear too young, because then that won't make any sense with the young person here.
Feeling the chill right through my shirt? Like someone walked over my grave, Mr. White. Excuse me.
As he strolled out of Perry's office into the planet's busy bullpen, the familiar hubbub did little to ease Clark's mind. Clark compulsively scanned the city. Orion, John Jones, John Stewart, Batman, they were being picked off one by one, and they still didn't even know who they were fighting yet. Clark's wife Lois was leaning against Jimmy Olsen's cubicle, holding up a CD.
This is everything on the missing kid story, Jimmy. If you could get this downstairs to press for me, I'd be really grateful.
Jimmy rummaged beneath his desk for a moment before taking the CD.
Sure thing, Ms. Lane.
He dashed for the elevators. Clark's brow furrowed. He peered over the tops of his horn-rimmed glasses.
Jimmy? Wait a minute.
Hadn't he just seen Jimmy downstairs on the sidewalk outside the building? Clark's X-ray vision saw through the elevator doors, revealed the freckle-faced cub reporter dissolving into a heap of animated sludge. What was Clayface doing in Metropolis? And poking around under Jimmy Olsen's desk?
Lois!
The explosion took out the top floors of the Daily Planet building. The newsroom had been reduced to rubble. Burning sheets of paper wafted through the choking haze.
Lois!
He saw Lois's hand stretching upward from a pile of debris. Blood trickled down her wrist, and her wedding ring was covered with soot.
No.
Oh, that foot really crap. That foot's really crap. Oh, it's crap. I hate that foot because it's crap. Oh, that foot's crap. That foot's really crap. Trying to give it back a trousers and it didn't work.
Generations of flashes raced through the streets of Keystone City, leaving a pair of scarlet blurs behind them.
So he asks me to read through the entire internet looking for any unusual activity around the time John was murdered.
A yellow lightning bolt was emblazoned on the chest of Wally West's skin-tight scarlet uniform, and a pair of streamlined golden wings ornamented the sides of his cowl.
Thank you, Batman. And thanks for tagging along today.
Jay Garrick, the original Flash, had no trouble keeping up with his younger successor. Jay's old-school uniform consisted of a winged silver helmet, a crimson shirt bearing the traditional Flash Lightning insignia, blue trousers, and red pilot boots. Graying temples and time-worn features give away how long he'd been in the superhero game. They stopped in an abandoned strip club. Live girls read the dilapidated marquee above curvaceous neon silhouettes. Nude, wild, nude.
Why here? You know, this is where Barry and I met all those years ago.
Barry Allen, Wally's uncle, had been the Flash between Jay and Wally. He had perished heroically during the so-called Crisis on Infinite Earths. Jay still missed him. He knew Wally did too.
Had a nudie bar? Nobody told me that when I was Kid Flash.
Wally had started out as a teen sidekick before taking over as the Flash after Barry's death.
It used to be the Keystone City Community Center.
Vibrating their molecules, they phased through the locked door into a back room at the rear of the club. Half-empty drinking glasses and overflowing ashtrays suggested that the room had recently hosted a meeting. Jay paused to take in the sordid setting. Girly pictures were pinned to a cork bulletin board. Cobwebs gathered in the corners of the ceiling. The musty air smelled of tobacco and... could that be gorilla?
Ah, good old Barry. At least he never lived to see it all go to hell. And now, poor John Jones.
A tracking station recorded a seismic pulse around the time we think John's heart exploded. The epicenter was here. Wait a sec.
A sudden vibration shook the premises.
What was that? There isn't a subway line here, is there?
Nah. I just turned the whole place out while you were blinking. Found traces of Martian blood in this phony crime Bible thing.
He lifted a leather-bound tome from the conference table.
Faster than I ever was.
Oh, yeah. And that.
Wally pointed at the bizarre blue throne at the head of the table.
Okay, so that looks like an alien's arm. Got a bit of a crooked arm thing going on. I don't know why. I'm going to change that. So let's make that, and do this. Yep, still looks nothing like an arm. Oh, crap. It was looking so good as well. Damn it. I can fatten his arm a little bit.
This place gives me the creeps.
Wally scratched his chin as he contemplated the chair.
How can I fix that?
I think we might be onto something.
What are you thinking, Wally?
Well, Batman came up with a pretty wild idea, which I'm kind of running with. We're talking God weapons, right? Imagine a bullet fired backward through time.
Do I have to? I hate anything having to do with time travel in all its forms. I miss the days when the fiddler robbing a bank was the worst I had to deal with.
Jay reached out to examine the chair, only to be repelled by a violent burst of energy. He stumbled backward, and Wally grabbed onto him. The two flashes stared in alarm as the Mobius chair emitted a blinding glow from the circular halo atop its back. Wally nodded, as though this were all making sense to him.
What if this is where the God bullet breaks into time? The shell travels back through time, kills Orion, and passes through him into the past, where it finally buries itself in the concrete 50 years ago.
He squinted at the incandescent phone.
That thing there is the scope of a higher dimensional gun.
You sure about that? Because it's pointing straight at us, son.
The entire front began to vibrate. Coruscating beams of blue-white light issued from the halo, or scope, if Wally was right about the device. Tendrils of electricity sparked around the chair. Wally edged away, shielding his eyes with his arm.
My God, it's like the end of the world.
The floor trembled beneath their feet. Regaining his balance, Jay stepped to one side.
Those vibrations, Wally. Don't you recognize those vibrations?
Can't be. Not after all these years.
In a splinter of a second, two figures appeared in the halo of light. An ominous figure in gleaming ebony armor on a pair of sleek midnight skis swooped after a crimson speedster. The speedster's face made it clear that he was racing nothing less than death itself, and at the same time pursuing a glowing, translucent bullet. Out of the blinding light shot perhaps the greatest flash of all, Barry Allen. New York. The Darkside Club was no longer open for business. Metal shutters covered the windows. No light peeked out from behind the closed front door. The Omega symbol inscribed on the door foretold the end of all things. Or so the Frankenstein monster feared. The creature, who had long ago adopted his creator's name as his own, led a team of Shade operatives on a midnight raid at the Brownstone. Over 7 feet tall, he towered above his mortal lieutenants, who also worked for the Superhuman Advanced Defense Executive, a covert agency that protected mankind from paranormal threats. The agency had drafted Frankenstein into its service not long after his most recent resurrection. Crude sutures revealed where his patchwork body had been stitched together. Tarnished copper electrodes jutted from his temples. He wore a dark wool pea coat over a faded 19th century cavalry officer's uniform. A broadsword was strapped across his back, and an antique steam pistol was clutched in his grip. His backup sported more contemporary arms and attire. SHADE was printed in white block letters upon
Yeah, that looks better.
automatic
I can't believe I did that to the arm. He's like, like he's broken it, but doesn't care. Oh, look at his arm, dude! You know what I mean? I suppose live streaming would bloody do that as well. I mean, if I broke it, I'd be like, look at this, until the ambulance came. And again, if I've broken my arm, the ambulance isn't coming unless they're going to charge me for it. So I'll probably walk there myself and go, look at my arm all the way through. God. Alright, yes, let's get that. Got the second character in. I'm kind of deliberating what kind of hair to put on there, but he definitely does need hair. Because it looks crap, by the way. To me, it does. But let's carry on.
A polished mahogany cane rested in the crook of his arm. A silver tie-pin was fashioned in the shape of an omega.
Boss Darkside.
The reputed crime lord was supposed to be a much younger man.
That's right.
A faceless woman stepped out from behind a velvet curtain. An imp implant in Frankenstein's skull, which gave him instant access to the Shade database, identified her as Renee Montoya. The question. A trench coat and fedora implied her status as a private investigator.
Ask the question. What kind of gangland killing leaves a man mummified?
He said freeze!
The SWAT team spread out to block the exit.
He said freeze!
Fogging the views of the flashlights. The caution left into the midst of the agents.
Okay, there's no sweet time.
He was more concerned with the natural state of Walt's Darkseid's body. He was in no need of replacement parts at the moment. He would have forgone any information from this particular course. Randolph's body appeared to have rotted away from the inside. Bending over it, Frankenstein sensed the lingering remnants of a profound evil.
This contagion is not of this earth.
The question paused in the doorway on her way out.
Ask yourself this. What happened to Danny Turpin?
Then she was gone. The fading smoke resolved into the shape of a question mark. The battered agents scrambled to their feet, massaging their ringing skulls. Their earpieces all received the same message.
Leave it. We'll pick up Montoya on the street.
Frankenstein recognized the smooth cadences of Father Time, the immortal head of Shade. Father Time spoke discreetly to him via the implant in his skull.
Frankenstein, report.
The creature turned away from the body. Sunken red eyes surveyed the lounge.
Sir, over here.
Agent Moritz pointed at an abstract black and white mural on the far wall. A glowing silver handprint was moving across the wall, searing an ominous message into the artwork. The floating cursor resembled the pointing hand graphic employed on modern computer screens, except that it was the size of an actual human hand. The scorched letters flared up brightly as the moving finger etched them into the wall, then faded away as the hand moved on.
K N O W.
Shades of Cayenne.
I have no idea what we're looking at. We getting this on camera?
Agent Lavenza scanned the wall with a handheld sensor.
Emissions are off the dial. Father Time, are you getting this? The letters disappear once written, as in a book a ghost were author of. A prophecy.
The message spelled out by the digital hand was not a comforting one.
No evil.
Washington, D.C.
Hold that thought, Frankenstein.
Father Time twirled a pocket watch as he faced an array of glowing monitors in Shade's secret headquarters in the nation's capital. Reborn every New Year's, he currently took the form of a dapper young black man wearing a pinstripe suit, bowler hat, spats, and domino mask. He turned his attention from the transmitted images of the Darkseid Club to a different screen, bearing the image of a stern-faced Middle Eastern man with a neatly trimmed mustache and goatee.
Excuse me, Talib. My New York team just found the Ark of the Covenant or some damn thing downtown.
I'll order a crate.
As the Black King of Checkmate, the United Nations top intelligence agency, Colonel Talib Beni Khalid was the closest thing Father Time had to a peer. A chessboard motif framed Khalid's lean visage.
Pay attention, Time. The situation in Bloodhaven is slipping through our fingers. Some local warlord has set himself up in an experimental weapons bunker. He's killing anyone who gets too close to Command D. American citizens don't need to know that anarchy has erupted inside their country's borders, do they?
Time was inclined to agree. Bloodhaven had been a problem ever since the secret society of supervillains had dropped a humanoid chemical weapon on it 2 years ago.
I need your most expendable agents, and we need to talk after you've explained to Ms. Montoya her role in the future of global law enforcement.
New York. The question walked briskly away from the Darkseid Club, heading downtown toward the East Village. A puff of chemical smoke dissolved the glue beneath her mask. She peeled away the blank pseudoderm to expose the face of Renee Montoya, late of the Gotham City Police Department. She thrust the wadded-up mask into her coat pocket, then shoved her hat to further alter her appearance. Chances were that Frankenstein and his goons were too busy investigating Boss Darkseid's bizarre demise to chase after her. But she didn't intend to make it easy for them if they did.
Oh, what the shit I'm drawing there.
Met Dr. Frankenstein's infamous monster who already faced her. After working homicide in Gotham, then chasing the crime Bible all over the world is the question. It took more than that to rattle her. The lights of lower Manhattan stretched out before her. Even though New York was famed as the city that never sleeps, she had the nocturnal sidewalks pretty much to herself. An unexpected flash of lightning.
That ain't a kid. That's not a child. Unless I do... No. Bollocks. Okay, it's not gonna be a kid. I tried to do like duck face, but it just turned out to be a big chin bloke. A big nose.
She prayed the building was unoccupied at this late hour. But despite the hour, she found a crowd of horrified onlookers gathered around the impact site. She shoved her way through the bystanders to reach the edge of a smoking crater in the middle of Fifth Avenue.
My God.
To her amazement, she found a young blonde woman lying at the bottom of the crater. A charred black cape was draped over her battered figure, and her scorched red skin was scraped and bleeding.
She's alive. Don't just stand there. Somebody call an ambulance.
Renee scrambled down the sides of the crater to reach the girl's side. Lying in a fetal position amidst the rubble, she was clearly a metahuman. But soot and scars made it hard for Renee to figure out who she was.
Fräulein. That's German. Shh, it's okay. Help's on the way.
Renee guessed that half the emergency vehicles in town were on their way. Uber Fraulein's crash landing had been hard to miss. The girl tried unsuccessfully to get to her feet, then rolled onto her back.
This works.
A swastika was emblazoned on the girl's chest.
He's there. He's here.
What's she saying? Frowning, Renee stood up.
Heaven is bleeding. Hell is here.
A heavy hand landed on her shoulder as the muzzle of a gun pressed against the nape of her neck.
Renee Montoya?
It was one of the shade agents she had trashed earlier.
Almost didn't recognize you with your face on.
Armed troopers closed in on her from both sides. Laser sights placed multiple red targeting dots over her heart.
You're coming with us.
Looks like I don't have much of a choice.
Metropolis.
Look, this is very easy to explain.
Mr. Pedrasky's orange polyester shirt matched Nick's, except for the manager button pinned to his chest.
You're scaring the crap out of people. But nothing. Our customers expect burgers with fries. Bizarre, unsettling questions? No.
I just wondered if anybody else felt the graviton impacts increasing.
Gravitons? Even the stupid word is annoying.
He pointed toward the door of his office.
You know what you are? You are no longer employed at this outfit.
Nick knew he should be upset about losing his job, but he found it hard to care. The teenager left his belly burger cap behind and popped in his earbuds as he exited the fast food restaurant for good.
The astonishing find in the Gotham subway extension. Professor Calvin Carson's team dates the cave art to the Paleolithic Revolution, while crop circle buffs in England claim the baffling design is identical to another pattern which appeared last week in Wiltshire.
The mystery deepens as more and more incidents.
We ran. My God, we ran. 3 generations of the Flash, racing after that luminous time bullet, all the while chased by the Black Racer. I struggled to keep up. Barry's out in front, reaching frantically for the bullet. Wally was right behind him, Speed Force crackling all around us. I was caught up in the other Flash's slipstream. They ran backward through time, so many thousands of times faster than the speed of sound that it was impossible to talk to one another. Our words simply couldn't catch up. We reached Metropolis in a heartbeat, and there was poor Orion, looking as though he just fought the battle of his life. At this point in the past, he was still alive, if only for an instant more. Barry made one last grab at that damn bullet, but even he was too late. Exploded inside Orion before traveling further into the past. The poor fella had been assassinated right before our eyes. We couldn't slow down, though. Glancing back over my shoulder, I saw the black racer right behind us. It was like a nightmare. His bladed ski poles jabbing at the empty air beneath him, his visored helmet hiding his face. I didn't know if he was after all of us, or just Barry, for escaping death before. There was no way to know, and no margin for error. Out of the corner of my eye, I briefly glimpsed a balding, middle-aged guy in a trench coat stumbling onto Orion's body before we left the crime scene behind, heading back toward the present. The velocity began to take its toll on me. A stiff stabbed at my side. I was breathing pretty hard. I wasn't sure I was going to make it. The black skis passed above me. I ran out of steam on the return curve. I only just made it tonight before my knee gave out.
Here's your coffee, dear.
Thanks, darling.
Jay's wife Joan sat beside him on the couch.
I felt that thing zipping right overhead in an ice-cold rush, going too fast to stop for me, while the others accelerated, red-shifting beyond the speed of light. And the last thing I saw... well, it's a little-known fact that death can't travel faster than the speed of light.
An extended family of Flash, wives, and children were gathered around him, hanging on his every word. Linda Park, Wally's beautiful young wife, had her arms around her two young children, Jai and Iris. Time paradoxes and hypercharged metabolisms complicated their ages, but the girl appeared to be 10 years old, the boy around 8. Iris Allen, Barry's widow, sat on the other side of Jay Garrick, fighting tears. She was still wearing her wedding ring, even after all these years.
They said he was dead all this time, and I knew it wasn't for good. He'd never been outsmarted before, not my Barry. And it's not Barry from the past or parallel Earth, is it? Not this time.
Joan smiled warmly. The wives of the Flashes shared a special bond, like the spouses of the early NASA astronauts. They had always been there for each other.
Tell her, Jay.
It was Barry.
He draped an arm around Iris, almost as overcome with emotion as she was.
I'd know that aura anywhere. On my soul, Iris. I saw your husband alive.
Florida. The Hall of Doom was hidden away in the swampy depths of the Everglades. Lurking alligators guarded the dome-shaped headquarters of the secret society. Its camouflaged green exterior was capable of sinking beneath the murky depths of the lagoon to avoid detection. A pair of oval windows with half-drawn metal shutters resembled the hooded eyes of some vast reptilian predator rising from below.
This is for me?
Inside the headquarters, Mike Miller, a.k.a. the Human Flame, looked over the upgraded new armor Libra had just bestowed upon him. A chrome-plated Kevlar breastplate fit over a suit of gray steel mesh. A metal gorget and matching pauldrons armored the throat and shoulders. A black leather belt held pouches for arms and ammo. Similar suits hung on racks in the Society's locker room. There was enough armor to equip a whole gang.
Boss, you're way too generous. In fact, it's starting to come over kind of gay, if you don't mind me saying. Oh, I mean, you know, it ain't that I'm ungrateful. It's just nobody ever did nothing for Mike Miller before.
Mike. A new hideout, a new uniform. It's all part of your commitment to a higher purpose. Come on, try it out.
Mike lifted the helmet from the bench. A crimson visor shone like blood against the polished steel faceplate.
Pretty cool, I gotta say. Kind of like those old cyclotrons or whatever from that old TV show Battle Who's It? But boss, I'm still sort of sentimental about the old crime suit.
He raised the helmet above his head.
Hey, I can hear a voice. Is there like a radio playing in there? That might be kind of distracting.
Libra came up behind him.
A voice? What's it saying, Mike? Listen close.
Without warning, he grabbed the helmet and shoved it down onto Mike's head.
No.
You hear it now, Mike? That's the anti-life equation. You pathetic, ignorant failure.
Mike clawed at the helmet's sides, but Libra held it in place with both hands until Mike's struggles subsided.
I've seen enough.
Lex Luthor stepped from the shadows of a nearby doorway where he'd been eavesdropping. His personal bodyguard, Mercy Graves, accompanied him. The tall blonde woman wore a black chauffeur's uniform and was rumored to be a renegade Amazon from Paradise Island. Luther trusted her as much as he trusted anyone, which was barely. Libra's gloved hands came away from the human flame's helmet.
Lex! What a time for you to spring up out of nowhere. The society's not meeting for another 3 hours.
Precisely.
Mike here almost choked to death, but he's fine now. So, you finally decided to take my leadership bid seriously, huh?
Luther crossed his arms atop the lapels of his Salvaro suit. He had left his high-tech war suit behind to demonstrate that he didn't need the world's most advanced body armor to intimidate this pretender.
I don't know who you are, but somehow you stopped Superman in his tracks. He hasn't answered a single emergency call for 18 hours.
Beside Libra, the human flame hoisted the tanks of his flamethrower onto his back.
So let's just say you owe me.
No, let's just say yours is a threat we intend to neutralize.
Unconcerned, Libra draped an arm over the shoulders of his armored acolyte.
You remember Mike, don't you? Half-wit Mike? Non-entity Mike? Well, Mike's become part of something much bigger than you now.
The human flame lurched forward. Fire spurted from the muzzle of his flame gun.
Judge others, enslave others. That delay justifies my hatred.
Get back, Lex.
But before Mercy could lash out at the human flame, a half-dozen locker doors burst open to reveal armed soldiers in identical steel armor. Their gleaming helmets matched the one fastened securely over Miller's head. Sophisticated energy rifles targeted Mercy and Luther, who realized that he had made a rare miscalculation. Libra's faceless foot soldiers spread out to surround them.
It seems I should have worn my war suit after all.
In less than 24 hours, the ability to make decisions will be forcibly removed from the inhabitants of this planet, Lex. So I would treasure this once-in-a-lifetime offer. Join us, like Mike, with a justifier helmet on your empty head. Or renounce science. Swear an oath on the crime Bible and pledge your service to the master of all evil.
Libra laid a hand on Luther's shoulder.
The day of apocalypse is at hand, sir. And I am only its prophet. Choose.
Metropolis.
This looks crap, but I'm running out of time. Got things to do, because I'm on the clock. What do you think of the idea? Really messed up social media, but I kind of went off on a different tangent. Can you see where I went?
Plaster casts encased her broken arms and legs, and a neck brace supported her head. Almost a day had passed since the explosion at the Daily Planet.
I thought big and went a bit bigger, then I could actually go. But what do you think there in comments?
The doctors say it could have been much worse, Mr. Kent. Perry's still on life support. Dick Armstrong lost a leg. And Adele from Human Resources died. At least Superman got the shrapnel out of Ms. Lane's heart.
I know. I was there, Jimmy. I just suspected what was happening. If only I'd been fast enough.
Not even Superman could have reached that bomb in time.
Right.
You know what? I think you and Miss Lane should have some time alone. Superman hasn't been seen since yesterday. Maybe I'll try to track him down.
Jimmy glanced at the hypersonic signal watch on his wrist.
I guess Superman has problems of his own, Jimmy.
Clark leaned forward in his chair and gently stroked her bandaged head. His heat vision was the only thing keeping her struggling heart beating. He was tempted to whisk her away to the Hall of Justice, despite the risk to his secret identity, but judging from Batman's mysterious disappearance from the morgue, the Hall's security may have been seriously compromised. Besides, Wonder Woman had already confirmed that Lois's injuries were beyond even the Purple Ray's ability to repair. Everyone had done what they could. Now all he could do was stay by her side, for as long as it took.
I'm sorry you're in so much pain. It's all because of me.
He lifted her limp fingers to his lips. Her skin was worryingly cold.
Lois. Oh, Lois. I'd do anything to take your pain away.
Anything?
An odd unexpected figure spoke from the doorway. A green-skinned youth wearing a long violet coat over a slick purple jumpsuit. Mussed blonde hair was pushed away from his high forehead. A metallic gold belt circled his waist. His literally futuristic attire was made of fabrics that wouldn't be invented for centuries.
Brainiac 5?
The Colin super genius was the direct descendant of Superman's alien arch-foe. Thankfully, he shared only his ancestors' computer-like intellect, not the original Brainiac's heartless nature. A valued member of the Legion of Superheroes, Brainiac 5 helped defend the United Planets of the 31st century from all manner of threats, which meant that he was presently 1,000 years before his time.
The future needs you, Superman. The entire space-time continuum needs you. You need to come with me to the 31st century.
What about Lois? If I don't stay with her, she'll die. My infrared massage is all that's keeping her heart alive.
I anticipated that response.
He extracted a tiny vial from the inner pocket of his jacket. A luminous red fluid glowed within the vial.
This is ultramenstruum, a rare substance distilled from the very bleed that separates the 52 universes from each other.
The bleed? Clark had heard the term before, but only vaguely understood what it meant. He thought it had something to do with the red skies.
As crystals grow in solution, so have exactly 52 alternate universes emerged within the bleed. Only my 12th level intellect was capable of extracting a minute portion of ultramenstruum for this crucial mission. I believe it is capable of healing your wife. Just this once.
Are you tampering with future history by saving Lois?
If you don't come with me, Kal-El, there won't be any history, past or future. It's that important.
He handed the vial over to Clark.
Hurry. Time is on the verge of fracturing even as we speak.
For the first time in hours, Clark allowed himself a flicker of hope. He accepted the vial from Brainiac 5 and carefully uncapped it. The aroma that reached his nostrils was like nothing he'd ever smelled before. More intoxicating than the finest champagne or ice cream, it seemed to hold an infinite number of olfactory possibilities at once. It was the pungent essence of sheer, abstract potential. Praying silently, he gently removed the oxygen mask from Lois's bruised face and poured the scarlet elixir down her throat.
Clark?
I'm here.
Lois touched her lips, as though the unearthly taste of the bleed still lingered there.
That explosion. Perry? Jimmy?
They're fine. Oh, thank heavens you're okay.
Clark took her in his arms, holding her gently. There would be time enough later to update her on all the particulars of the disaster. For now, he just wanted to hold her close.
I was afraid I'd lost you forever.
No chance of that, Smallville. Not when I still have a story to write. I don't suppose you have a pen on you?
Clark knew right then that Lois was her old self again.
Here you go. Pad and pen. I can't wait to read it.
I'm sorry to interrupt this touching scene, but we're running out of time. Time is running out of time. We need to go now.
Clark? What's he doing here?
Lois recognized Brainiac 5 from Superman's previous encounters with the Legion of Superheroes.
Please tell me I haven't been out of commission for 1,000 years.
Just the longest day of my life. But I'm afraid I have to go. There's some sort of crisis in time.
Of course there is.
Clark Kent was now the Man of Steel.
I have to tell you, Brainiac, I'm not comfortable leaving my own era at a time like this. Batman is missing. The planet was
Alexa,
don't worry, I can.
How long's left on the timer?
You have 15 minutes left on your 15-minute timer.
Always had before. This was hardly the first time the Legion had called upon Superman. Still, whoever had instigated the attacks on John Jones, John Stewart, and the planet was still out there.
Do me a favor, Lois. Contact my cousin. Have her take you and Jimmy to the fortress. I'll feel a whole lot better knowing you're all safe while I'm away.
I'll do that. She's on my speed dial. Don't worry about me. Go. Do what you have to do. Keep me waiting.
All right, Brainy. Let's go.
The future was waiting. Washington, D.C. The Alpha Lanterns escorted Hal Jordan through the corridors of the Hall of Justice. Glowing emerald chains, generated by the power batteries embedded in the alien lantern's chests, shackled Hal's arms to his sides. Heavy emerald stocks were locked around his throat. A female lantern wearing a winged helmet stood taller than the rest.
No lantern escapes the Alpha Lanterns.
I know you never seem to get tired of saying that, Boudica, but like I told you, I'll come quietly.
Wonder Woman, Black Lightning, and Alan Scott, Earth's original Green Lantern, looked on as their comrade was forced to endure a perp walk before them.
He didn't do it. There's no motive, no conclusive evidence. Are you determined to ignore the possibility of the evil god's involvement?
Evil gods. None of you can find any trace of the distinctive cosmic emissions we associate with so-called Celestials.
Glancing back over her shoulder, Cranc regarded Wonder Woman as an annoyance.
I answer to the Guardians of the Universe, not you. Jordan's guilt will be established in tribunal on Oa. Alpha Lanterns are bonded to the Great Power Battery, which renders our judgments infallible.
Hal, tell them. Something's wrong.
Listen, Diana, I don't know why, but I can't remember where I was when Orion was killed or when John was injured. I can't argue with these guys. Let me talk to the Guardians. I'll be fine. Don't worry about Earth. Only Green Lanterns in or out now.
That didn't stop John from being attacked. Or Batman from disappearing.
She was sorely tempted to liberate Hal by force, but knew that was not what he would want. Hal had devoted his life to the Green Lantern Corps. He deserved a chance to regain his standing among them, even if that meant facing judgment on distant Oa. When the Alpha Lanterns departed with Hal in a brilliant flash of green light, Diana's fellow heroes looked no more pleased than she was.
This is ridiculous.
A former Olympic athlete and U.S. Secretary of Education, Jefferson Pierce was a tall black man of noble countenance. His head was shaved smooth, and a blue domino mask was affixed to his features. The jagged lightning bolts adorning his dark black and blue uniform symbolized the supercharged electrical abilities at his command.
I tried to make them see reason, but I'm a Green Lantern in name only.
Unlike members of the Corps, the older hero Alan Scott's powers were mystical in origin. He drew his enchanted green flame from a magical meteorite that had been fashioned into a lamp by ancient Chinese artisans. Instead of a variation on the usual Green Lantern uniform, he wore a voluminous purple cloak over a red tunic and green trousers. A high purple collar framed his face, and a brown leather belt was around his waist. A purple domino mask protected his identity. Although he'd been a member of the Justice Society of America for over 40 years, eldritch energies had kept him surprisingly fit for a man of his years. His blonde hair held no trace of gray or silver.
You're still convinced Darkseid is involved?
Someone murdered a new god and dumped his body on Earth. Superman is at the bedside of his injured wife. Batman is missing.
Diana had been only a few rooms away, tending to the injured John Stewart, when the alarm had gone off at the Hall of Justice. By the time she and Dr. Midnight had investigated, there was no sign of Batman in the morgue, and no indication of what had happened to him. Cranc later claimed that she had left Batman there a few minutes earlier, but Diana had her doubts. All security footage and recordings had been inexplicably wiped clean.
It is suspicious. There just isn't enough evidence to convince the meta-military agencies operating under the Checkmate umbrella.
Alan had deep connections to the world's intelligence community, which was one of the reasons that Diana had asked him to swing by the Hall of Justice today.
They decided to prioritize the latest breakdown of authority in Bloodhaven. Perhaps we should too.
They strolled down a corridor toward the Hall's communications hub.
We all know Hal Jordan didn't do it. You ask me why I feel certain the evil gods are involved? Intuition. Will that do?
Diana, in the past we could always count on the good new gods to defend us against their evil counterparts. Without their knowledge, their warriors and technology, we'd be at a frightening disadvantage. We'd need to start training an army. Did I ever tell you how President Roosevelt helped us assemble over 50 mystery men and women as the All-Star Squadron back during the war?
My mother told me about it.
Her mother, Queen Hippolyta of the Amazons, had fought to defend democracy during the Second World War.
Article X, the draft for superheroes.
We called them mystery men back then, but yes.
Glowing video screens tracking situations across the planet covered the walls. A young red-haired woman sat before an impressive control panel, prescription glasses aiding her shrewd blue eyes. A metal wheelchair did nothing to diminish Barbara Gordon's skill and confidence. Although she had once fought crime as Batgirl, she now went by the codename Oracle. As such, her computer skills were unparalleled.
Without John Jones, you'll be the hub of our communications oracle. We've set you up with the best equipment money can buy. You may not be able to serve on the front lines, but you'll be indispensable to our preparations.
Hey, they also serve who have a huge network of contacts. Trust me, the word has gone out. I just hope it's not too late.
Fawcett City. Feeling discouraged, Freddie Freeman slumped in an easy chair in front of a silent TV. A pair of metal crutches were propped up against the side of the chair. Due to a childhood injury, the doctor
I think.
applied the crutches whenever he was simply falling.
Ooh, that is enough sketching. I just need to put maybe a little bit of colour here and there, but I think most of it's going to be colour itself that's going to be needed. So I will colour this later on, but I'll be doing that off stream. Again, if you're new, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Ding the bell for notifications for that to be posted on the 31st, maybe the 1st of next month. Because we've still got a few more days, because we're at 31 days, we're only at the 4th day now. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's reading of the audiobook. Finally got round to actually getting it working. I'll get everything working again tomorrow. I'll get to make sure everything's charged. But yeah, what do you think of the illustration? Because like I said, I wanted to have a radio as the headstone of the radio is dead because of video. Well, the radio is not completely dead, it's still carrying on, just hanging in there, even in bone form. Got his wires going up through all the things, getting to the cable, getting to the actual radio, maybe broadcasting his last message to his oncomers as the people that rose from the radio. Podcast was first, and that's why he's looking a little bit older. Then we've got live streamers, which is the more sort of current. And then we've got social media, which is pretty much a mix of everything. That's why it kind of... I'm kind of like the way it looks, because it's kind of like it could be a woman, could be a bloke, could be somebody in fancy dress, could be somebody just social mediaing they've made a cosplay. Who knows? That's what social media is. So hopefully everything looked good. I just want to put in a few, like I said, but yeah, a few darker lines just to sort of differentiate between the two, 3 layers. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments there, or what you think of today's drawing. Again, I will be back again tomorrow to do some more. From this drawing. Not from this drawing, sorry, from another one of the prompts. I think tomorrow's Blade. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing for that one. I've got a few ideas. Maybe something from God of Wars. Maybe just a bog standard picture of Blade the hero, as he's becoming quite popular again. Let me know what you think in the comments today. Or you can go over to TikTok and post what you think I should do tomorrow on the... on the TikTok, which I completely forgot to carry on doing. So give me a second while I do that. We're about 15 minutes in, 15 seconds even. So we'll have where did we go to last time? I think it was down here, wasn't it? Down here? Yeah, down here. And then we'll pull out here. Have a look over, go down to there, dude. Then we'll pull out and go over here, have a look at the pen, and then we'll have the pen coming out and a full look. Job's a good one. Right. Completely forgot about the TikTok. But it's handy to show off things. And I'm bored of just taking pictures. Good tape. Yeah, when I laugh. Why are you laughing at me? Think about where the light source is as well. Is he making a shadow? Are they making a shadow? If they are, it'll be maybe obstructed from the actual tree itself, so their shadow may not even be a thing. This is the fun bit. We're almost putting in the detail that you've already drawn, but I always feel it needs just a little bit more. Still trying to keep to the original idea. The scratchy lines, so don't go thick, full on, that's a straight line, let's have a nice straight line there. I'll have to go around this, definitely. Give it a bit more... Ah, I know why I draw a box, because I was going to make it 3D. Idiot. Didn't do that. Remember, I've got one of these underneath. So when I do draw, especially in full bore Copic marker ink, because it does definitely soak through most papers. As long as I think it's blending paper, it doesn't come through too badly, but it will come through. So be aware that when you use them, no matter when you use them, make sure that you're keeping it so it doesn't ruin anything underneath. Because I hate ruining the next fresh page, because I've done that a few times with these and with just a general other pens, where I've gone put all these little squiggly lines and they've gone through to the next page, and I'm like, oh, why did you have to do that? Alright, it's like, it doesn't completely ruin the page, but it makes me think, oh, I don't want to use that piece of paper now, because it's tainted. It's tainted. Can't touch it. It's tainted. Let's get some greys in here, shall we? I'm going to use it as shade. So where the shade, I think the shade's going to be, I'll put this grey. And a fatter brush. Definitely for one for I'm saying the light's coming. Always light's coming from over here. It's how I learned to do light. Ooh, 50 minutes again. Alexa, stop. Still not quite finished though. Still quite not there. Still not there, but pretty much. There's no point doing any shadow under there because that whole thing's going to be shadow, so you kind of get the idea that it's shadowed anyway. I forgot to put a little light bulb in there. Whoops. A little pull cord. There we go. Yeah, but you're kind of going to get the idea that that's shadow anyway. I'm kind of like my hands make the shadow on there. That's the kind of idea that I'm going with. Because I can put more shadow with deeper colour, if you know what I mean. So when you use Copic markers, you can have one layer. You have your one layer sort of thing. But if you want to go over it again, it darkens it. And it makes it blend a lot better. You can use a different colour. Say if I want a more light here, so more of a yellow colour here, moving into other thing, and you know the same colour but darker and darker and darker and darker. So it's not so heavy on the shadow. I like the heavy shadow anyway. I'm going to be keeping that, but put these shadows here. Again, I'm using a different colour. So shadows come from here over there. The sun light, so the shadow will make it more this way. And that's all you do with grey and black. Is all you're doing is darken it. When you're doing it black, you're just doing the sketch. If you're going to make it so you can colour it, it's always you also like make it pop out, pop a little bit maybe. You can have a lot of shadow on that tree. Could almost say it's covered in that shadow, but I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of shadow from that tree there. So maybe that branch. No, that branch is fine. And we'll have this. His shadow. Let's go to the other one. One of these greys is running out, and I think it's one of my favourite, and that's why it's running out. And it is this one. I used a lot of grey yesterday on the on my picture from yesterday, because it was a lot of like silver, a lot of like grey silver sort of plating. Like metal, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just use this one, and wow, did it run out quick. Not happy. And these will have a little bit of shadow as well, but let's see what this looks like here. Again, starting in a little bit, trying to make probably going to make that like a woody colour, not sure yet. But again, we're just putting in the shading, and the colouring will come in afterwards. That will come in handy because I can blend those together. I try not to leave it too long as well between colouring, because it'll become it won't blend very well. And that one's run out, so let's put that one to the side. We're going to get any shadow from that tree, in fact. Not too much because the shadow's already there, so maybe if I just give it a little summon just to show there is one. He hasn't got a shadow at all. He will be shadowed, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it with the pen. Pretty sure I'm done for now, hopefully. So yeah, What do you think, guys? I'm done. That's my entry for today of Inktober Day 4. The word was radio, and video killed the radio star. Thankfully you have enjoyed it, guys. I know I definitely have. So don't forget to join me again tomorrow for episode 5. Okay, leave a like if you do, and I will see you later. Click the links that will appear if you're watching back. Otherwise, hit that subscribe, ding the bell, and I'll see you again. Bye.